Hello and welcome to another Fired Up Leader Life video. In today's teaching, I'm going to be talking a little bit about developing who's the closest to you. Who's in your inner circle, if you will. I'm going to start with Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. We're created for relationship. We're not created for isolation. There's a lot of people who think that they can do it alone, but we need people in our lives that support us, that help us, that challenge us, and that in turn we also support and challenge them. Mother Teresa once said, "You can do what I cannot do. I can do what you cannot do. Together we can do great things." Jesus knew this, and that's why we see it today so often in our leadership ranks, that we talk about encouraging and supporting and helping one another. When Jesus sent out the 12 on their first mission, if you will, their first training mission, their first solo mission, he sent them out in pairs. No one was going to work alone. They were going to work with each other. They were going to support each other. They were going to help each other. Then he used the same approach when he sent out the next 70, that they were going to work together for advancing the kingdom. You've probably heard this approach applied to a cliche for team. Together, everyone achieves more. We do better in relationship, we're stronger together. And we're designed to be in relationship. We're designed to work together. Recently, I read a John Maxwell devotional, and I like reading some of John Maxwell's stuff. And it was on the law of the inner circle. John Maxwell has his 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and this particular one was based on his law of the inner circle. And it's about John the Baptist feeling in isolation when he feels and senses his inner circle moving away from him. And it comes to us from Matthew 11, verses 2 and 3. When John, who was in prison, heard about the deeds of the Messiah, he sent his disciples to ask him, "Are you the one who is to come, or should we expect someone else?" The devotional text goes on to say, when John the Baptist loses his inner circle of disciples, his empty spiritual tank prompts him to question the identity of Jesus, to ask, "Are you the one who is to come, or are we supposed to wait for someone else?" Leaders need a close team of associates, and I'm not talking about yes men. I'm not talking about people who say, "Yes, sir, that's what you really want to hear, and I'm going to tell you what you want to hear because you need to keep me around, so I'm going to tell you what you need to hear." Quite the opposite. We need a close inner circle who's going to hold us accountable, who's going to tell us the hard things that we'd rather not hear. Leaders need a close team of associates who, one, can allow the leader to vent and hold that in confidence, but then can say, "Look, this may be the way you're feeling, but this is really what's going on. I'm noticing this about you." And it's great when we have those people who can do that because they hold us accountable. Accountability is so important to leadership integrity and character. So as we know, John the Baptist knew who Jesus was. They were cousins. I remember the scene when Mary comes in contact with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth says, "My baby has leapt within my womb." They knew who each other were. They were only 6 months apart. Elizabeth was only 6 months further along than Mary was. So he knew who Jesus was, but when we're alone, as John the Baptist did, we begin to question and second guess what we know to be the truth. When we don't have people around us that we feel we have a connection with, we begin to question everything in our relationship lives. When we don't have trusted confidants that we can be real with and be transparent, we begin to second guess and even third guess and fourth guess the motives, intentions, and actions of others. We need to have a close group of folks who continue to keep us sharp. Remember, iron sharpens iron. That they will help keep us sharp and in the truth and knowledge of Jesus Christ and his love for us. One of the benefits of a relationship is relationships provide safety nets. We know this from interpersonal communication study. Relationships provide us the safety nets we need. Proverbs 17:17, a friend loves at all time, and a brother is born for times of adversity. We need people in our lives that we can talk to. We need people that can understand what we're dealing with as leaders. Sometimes folks have a romantic notion of leadership, that they're the leader, they've got it all together, they know what they're doing. Look at how great everything looks. But sometimes on the inside of a leader's life, they may be falling apart and crumbling, and they need someone that they can talk to explain that. When we have people sharpening us, it's authentic. There's trust, and they will stand with you even in the darkest moments and of the most trying times. In leadership, we're going to come across things, and we're going to come up against things, problems, issues, decisions that are difficult for us to deal with alone. Even those of us that are leaders seek out other leaders to have conversations with. Even counselors and therapists work with other counselors and therapists to process what's going on. We can't take all the world's problems onto our own shoulders. We need to have ways to discuss those things. We need a safety net that provides us a solid, trustful foundation that we can work with to discuss those issues. That's why we need others in our lives who we can trust. Another benefit about relationships I want to talk about here this morning is we succeed with advisors. So back to Proverbs 15:22, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. There are no lone rangers in leadership. There really aren't. When we really think about it, leaders have followers. At the very least, you have that relationship. But when we talk about others trusting and supportive relationships, that's when leaders succeed. When there are people that they can talk to and bounce ideas off of, and we see it in any work we do. Those closest to us help determine our level of success. And as I said, this isn't meaning that you should have a lot of yes people around you. In fact, quite the opposite. As you're looking for your team of trusted advisors, these should be people that challenge you, that stretch you, that pull you into new directions so that you can grow. Because if we have a lot of yes people, that's management. Yes people keeps the status quo, and that's management. Leadership stretches into new areas. Leadership is about moving into those things that we might not otherwise have ever considered. And you need people, you need a Nathan in your life who's going to stretch you beyond in that accountability relationship. And these people need to be trusted enough and trustworthy enough and authentic enough to provide good counsel. So just to close this teaching video, who's in your inner circle? Who are those people that are closest to you? Are they people that are going to stretch you, that are going to hold you accountable, that are going to help you maintain your integrity and your character, who are going to ask you the tough questions? Or are they people that are going to just support you and tell you what you want to hear and say, yeah, that's a great idea, let's go for that? Some people say we need at least 3. There's another devotional I read that says we need at least 6 people in our lives, that we need at least 6 people in our lives, because that's how many people are normally pallbearers at your coffin, carrying your coffin to your funeral, and they should be your friends, your closest confidants should be the last people to let you down. Kind of a stark image there, but it makes sense. This closest circle of friends should be, and advisors and confidants should be the last people to ever let you down. Although there may be best friends, they don't always need to be. Prayerfully consider, allow God to show you who should be in your inner circle. Sometimes people think that mentors should be older. Sometimes mentors are younger. They've got a different grasp on situations, a different grasp on realities. Don't discount anybody because of their age. Look for those, let God show you those, for those connections that need to be made. He'll bring the relationships together that need to be brought together. He'll bring the relationships together that will sharpen one another. To succeed in leadership, we need to understand the value of trusting and authentic relationships so that we have trusted advisors who can help us be successful. It's through these types of relationships, it's through these types of challenges, these types of growth experience that we're going to be able to lead others and be better all the way around.